You are 18 years old, standing inside Delhi International Airport with one blue suitcase, one backpack, and enough fear to count as extra baggage. You grew up in Indore, where your father earns about $620 a month at a bank, while your mother earns $190 teaching mathematics. Together, they make less than $10,000 a year, but your university in Ohio costs almost $38,000 annually. Even with a $12,000 scholarship, your parents borrowed $42,000 and used most of their savings to send you abroad. Before you leave, your father gives you a white envelope containing $300 and calls it emergency money. Your mother ties a red thread around the suitcase handle, tells you to call when you land, then adds, "Eat something first." You hug them, walk toward immigration, and turn around one last time. Your mother is still standing with one hand raised, while your father studies the departure screen, as if understanding the schedule will somehow make this easier. 16 hours later, you land in Chicago and miss your connecting flight because you wait at the wrong baggage belt. The next flight leaves in 6 hours, so you pick up a bottle of water and see that it costs $4.79. You put it back because paying almost $5 for water feels like a financial crime. When you finally reach Ohio, the ride to campus costs $58, reducing your emergency money before you even enter your dormitory. Your roommate is Ethan from Wisconsin, who owns 12 pairs of shoes and a gaming computer worth $2,400. He asks whether people in India speak Indian, and you say yes because you have been awake for more than 20 hours. Your bank account contains $1,620, but textbooks cost $640. Your phone costs $45 a month, and laundry costs $3.50 per load. Everyone tells you to enjoy university life, while you calculate how many weeks your money will last. You were one of the best students in your school, but in America, almost everyone was one of the best students somewhere. Your first programming exam score is 54%. The student beside you, Arjun, scores 96% and tells you the first semester is difficult for everyone. His father paid his tuition before classes began, while your father has a loan that may take 20 years to repay, so the encouragement does not help much. You apply for 7 campus jobs, and the dining hall finally hires you for $12.75 an hour. Your supervisor, Denise, watches you rush through your first shift, drop 2 trays, and nearly break a stack of plates. She tells you, being fast is useless when you have to do everything twice. Right now, it only saves the plates, but the sentence will follow you for years. Every night, you call your parents and tell them America is wonderful. Your mother asks what you ate, and you say pasta without explaining that it was leftover food from work. Your father asks whether classes are difficult, and you call them manageable without mentioning the 54% exam. Every student living abroad eventually becomes an actor, and the performance is called "Everything is Fine." Your parents are acting too, because your father never mentions the loan payments, and your mother never mentions that she has stopped buying new clothes. By November, the temperature falls below freezing. You own 2 sweaters and 1 jacket designed for winter in India, which is basically an American autumn with confidence. Denise sees you waiting for the bus while wearing 2 sweaters, your father's formal jacket, and a hoodie. She says you look like a badly organized onion, then drives you to a second-hand shop where you buy a heavy black coat for $38. During your second year, you move into an apartment with 4 other students. Your rent is $465 a month, and after groceries, utilities, transportation, and your phone, your basic expenses reach around $840. You transfer to the university technology desk and take home around $1,160, leaving only a few $100s for textbooks, medicine, and emergencies. You apply for more than 100 summer internships. One company rejects you 12 minutes after you apply, which feels unnecessarily efficient. Finally, a logistics company outside Cleveland hires you for 12 weeks at $22 an hour. After taxes and transportation, you earn around $8,900. You use $4,200 for tuition, save $2,500, and send $1,000 home. Your mother calls and asks why you sent so much. You tell her it was extra, even though there is no extra money in your life. Your father uses part of it to pay your sister's college admission fee and send you a photograph of her outside the campus gate. For the first time, your struggle produces something you can actually see. During your third year, you receive a paid placement earning $25 an hour. Your monthly take-home pay rises to around $3,250, so you begin sending $700 home regularly. When the refrigerator breaks, you send $480. When your sister needs a laptop, you send $620. And when your father needs dental treatment, you send $900. Each transfer takes less than 1 minute, creating the dangerous illusion that distance can be solved with money. Then your grandfather dies. A last-minute flight costs $1,680, and although you have enough savings, your final project presentation is 3 days away. Missing it could cost you the recommendation needed for a full-time job, so your father tells you not to come. You watch the funeral through a video call that freezes while your family is carrying your grandfather away. 3 days later, your presentation goes well, and your manager tells you that you have a bright future while you think about the funeral you missed to protect it. 4 years after arriving, you graduate with a computer science degree, 2 internships, and nearly $60,000 in education debt. Your parents cannot attend because the trip would cost almost $5,000, so they watch through a live stream that freezes while your name is pronounced incorrectly. Your mother still claps, while your father records the frozen screen because he thinks the problem is his phone. You apply for more than 200 jobs, complete 31 coding tests, and attend 11 interviews before a healthcare software company in Dallas offers you $78,000 a year. After taxes and deductions, your monthly take-home pay is around $4,650. Rent, transportation, student loans, food, and bills consume most of it, but you still send $600 home every month. Your first paycheck is $2,247, and you send $700 to your parents before buying anything for yourself. Your mother uses part of it to repair the leaking roof, while your father sends you a photograph of the new ceiling and writes, "Your roof. You have never lived beneath it, but the photograph makes the job feel meaningful." Your company enters you into an employment visa lottery, but you are not selected. A computer system has decided that the life you spent years building may have an expiration date. Arjun receives his visa on the first attempt and posts a photograph holding the approval notice. You press the like button, then place your phone face down. The following year, your application is selected. Your mother asks whether this means you are finally safe, and you tell her yes, even though it only means you are safer than yesterday. At 24, your salary rises to $86,000, but one Tuesday morning, you receive a meeting invitation titled Business Update. 7 minutes later, you are unemployed. You have $11,400 in savings, more than $40,000 in debt, and limited time to find another employer. You do not tell your parents for 9 days. Whenever your father asks how work is going, you tell him you are busy. This is technically true because finding work has become your full-time job. Then Arjun calls. His company in Seattle is hiring, and he sends your resume directly to a manager. The student you spent years comparing yourself against becomes the person who prevents your life from collapsing. You receive an offer paying $112,000, plus an $8,000 signing bonus. Your apartment costs $1,850 a month and looks directly into another building, which the advertisement proudly calls an urban view. 9 years after leaving India, you finally return for a longer visit. Your mother cries when she sees you. Your father has more gray hair than you remember, and your sister now has a young son who knows you mainly as a face on a phone. The apartment has new flooring, a repaired roof, a larger refrigerator, and an air conditioner. Your money is visible everywhere, but you are not present for any of the changes. In America, people ask where you are really from, while in India, people tell you that you have changed. Your childhood friends now have jobs, children, and jokes you do not understand because you miss the years when those jokes were created. You spent years missing home, only to return and discover that home did not wait for you. At 30, you marry Ananya, an Indian pharmacist who also moved to America for education. Together, you earn more money than either family could once imagine, buy a townhouse for $585,000, and continue sending $1,200 home every month. When you finally repay the education loan, your father sends a photograph showing a balance of zero and writes, "Now start living for yourself." 2 years later, your daughter is born, and your parents travel to America to help. Your mother arrives carrying the same blue suitcase, now with one smaller replacement wheel that makes it turn permanently to the left. The red thread is still tied around the handle. Your daughter learns a few words of Hindi, but slowly forgets them after your parents return home. You tell yourself there's plenty of time, because people living abroad become experts at believing there will always be another visit. At 36, your sister calls to say your father has suffered a heart attack. You book the first available flight for $2,340 and reach India 31 hours later. Your father survives, but the man who once carried your suitcase now needs help lifting a glass of water. At home, he shows you a notebook containing every payment you sent and what each amount paid for. Near the back, several payments are marked saved, totaling around $21,000. Your father explains that you sent more than they needed, so he kept the remainder for you. You remind him that the money was meant for him, and he simply says, "I know." For years, you thought sending money meant you were taking care of your parents, while your father thought saving it meant he was still taking care of you. At 42, you earn $195,000 a year. During an important work presentation, your father calls twice, but you silence the phone and message him that you will call that night. 20 minutes later, your sister calls to say he has collapsed. By the time you reach India, the funeral preparations have already begun. The final message he read says, "We'll call tonight." After the funeral, you find the blue suitcase on top of a cupboard. Inside are old documents, bank records, and the formal suit you carried to America at 18. In the suit pocket is the original emergency envelope containing $1 American. Your father saved that final dollar for 24 years. You sit on the floor holding it. You spent your adult life turning dollars into education, healthcare, security, and opportunity, yet this almost worthless dollar becomes the most valuable thing you own. Years later, you retire with around $3,400,000 in savings, investments, and property, but success never refunds the birthdays, funerals, ordinary dinners, or unanswered calls exchanged for it. You are 61 when your daughter accepts a one-year job in India. You drive her to the airport, and she carries the old blue suitcase with a faded red thread still tied around the handle. Before she walks through security, you tell her to call when she lands, then add, "Eat something first." She smiles, and you finally understand that your mother's sentence was never only about food. It meant, "Tell me you are safe, tell me the distance has not changed us, and tell me I'm still part of your life." India was where you came from, and America was where you built your future, but home was the person waiting beside the phone, asking whether you had landed and whether you had eaten.